Hello, Watchdogs. My name is Todd Cummings, and I'm heading up the Schaefer Watchdog program for the 2017-18 school year. This has historically been and continues to be a very successful program at Schaefer. I want to start off by saying thank you for your interest in the program to begin with, and thank you for attending this kickoff training. So, what is Watchdogs? Let's start off with that. DOGS stands for Dads of Great Students. Basically, this program is a way for fathers to get involved at the school. As you know, the dominant involvement from the family is the mother role when it comes to the schooling of the child. This way, the Watchdog program is a way for us fathers to get involved at the school and give back to the school and grow that bond with our children in a school setting. So it's a great program for us getting involved at the school. So the program is basically a nationwide program from the National Center of Fathering. So this is a program that's not just at Schaefer. It's across the district at different schools if they have it implemented. But again, a national program with hundreds of thousands of fathers that are part of this program and lots of schools. So one of the reasons behind this is the more that the father is involved at the school or with their children, and when it comes to just being a father and being involved, period, is we find that the kids develop more fully. So socially, physically, academically, emotionally, spiritually, when there is a positive male role model and they're actively engaged, the children are able to develop to their fullest potential. So that's basically the basics around Watchdogs, why it started, and again, the main thing is getting dads involved in a school setting. So if you wanted to kind of just get some, kind of new to the Watchdogs program and want to learn a little bit more about it, there's a link here, basically to watch a Today Show segment on the Watchdog program. So Matt Lauer from the Today Show did an interview with some individuals and get some understanding of what Watchdogs is all about. So what are the objectives of the Watchdog program? Pretty much we want to provide a positive role model for those students. So as you know, some students need a little extra time and attention, especially from a male role model. They might not necessarily have that in their life. Having males around the school, since it's a very dominant, female dominated environment, shows the children that the dads do care about their education, do care about them, period. It basically allows us and gives us some opportunity to interact with the students and kind of sow those seeds of success, and basically be a good role model for them, a male role model. But it does send it's very subtle, but a very strong message. And basically, you think about it as like, hey, dad took a day off of work to come help me and help my school. That goes a long way in the children's minds, believe it or not. Another aspect of it is providing some not serious security, but the illusion of security to a certain degree of having dads that are in, if something were to happen, or at least giving them the children a sense of security, having males in the school and walking around the school to provide any kind of additional sets of eyes and ears in the school to help out with the school in that. And basically be an unobtrusive presence in the school. So instead of having a police officer that's walking around the halls, we have dads that can be alert and pay attention to what's happening in the school. And then what they've found in this program is that a lot of the bullying and other distractions practically disappear when there's a male role model around, or there's a male presence. So in a kind of an indirect way, it changes the setting a little bit for these different schools. And really what we're, the objectives is if we can get, the majority of the fathers or get a high percentage of participation, is all we're asking really for from the fathers is one full day over the course of the whole school year. And, you don't have to come 5 times. You could come just once, but that goes a long way. This is a very successful program. I would actually say we probably have the opposite problem where there's demand for certain days more than that we can actually open up enough slots for. So, but that's kind of what we're looking for in the Watchdog program. So who wins in this? The first winner is your student. So again, studies show that the negative impact of a dad that checks out physically or emotionally from their children. You won't believe the look in your children's eyes or the excitement they have, especially the younger they are, having you around at the school. You're the big dog on campus. The other children see that. It gives the other children an opportunity to meet you. But that goes a long way in your students' eyes, and just have kind of a sense of pride of having their parent and especially their father at the school. So the second winner is the school itself. So again, dads have limited exposure to the schools, especially modern schools. So what we kind of think of as a dad is what we are used to or what we experienced when we were in school, which is not really a modern school. A modern school is a lot different on how they learn, how they're exposed to different things. So, it is a lot different. This experience gives you kind of a view behind the curtain, if you will, of what really goes on at the schools nowadays. I also want to say that the Schaefer teachers and staff love the involvement of the watchdogs at the school. They are fully supportive of the program and believe in the benefits of the dads being involved. They can't say that enough. Whenever I walk the halls or go to the school for anything, that I'm inundated with feedback from the teachers and Ms. Sawyer, the principal, and the PTA members of how much it's appreciated having the dads, how much they like the program and see the benefits of having the program. And another aspect of that is the more active a dad is, and they become less of a cynic and become more of an advocate of the school itself. So that's another way that the school wins, is that you kind of see where they're coming from on certain issues, or see what's actually going on at a school. And it might be less judgmental, especially if we're not really exposed to what's actually going on at the school. It's just natural human instinct to do that. And again, so you got the student. That's the first winner. School's winning in this. The third winner is you. You're getting, basically, you're the big man on campus at the time. You're the rock star. The children will try to engage with you, especially go around at the lunch tables and things like that, or with recess. They love the interaction with the watchdogs. So again, you're gonna feel that love from the children. You're the big man on campus. In a kind of a busy world, I know for myself, I'm involved with my kids' sports, and we've got activities after school, and we're always on the go, which isn't the best opportunity for you to kind of really engage with your children. And so I think it gives you an opportunity to bond with your child. You're not following the child around the school, all day long or anything like that, but just the interaction that you do have throughout the day goes a long way. So I think this involvement is more beneficial in helping that bond than you would probably imagine. So let's talk about some of the expectations and the rules of the program. What makes a great dog? What makes a great watchdog? So there's some pillars here. The first thing is, in this, when you're going to the school, guys, you've taken the day off of work. You're going in. The biggest thing we're looking for from the watchdogs: be alert, be approachable, be available. So fully be engaged when you're there. Unfortunately, sometimes there is the trappings. We're in a society that everybody lives by their cell phone. Try to put the cell phone away, put it on, vibrate or whatever, and just kind of put it away for a while. Kind of unplug from the rest of the world and try to be more available while you're at the school. You'll definitely enjoy the experience more. We all have jobs, we all have responsibilities, so we do understand that. The teachers and the staff understand that, but as much as you can possibly, please try to be engaged with the students. Never be alone with the kids. So this is kind of a, unfortunately we have to even go there, but that's kind of one of the rule, one of the rules that, unfortunately in the society that it's just not appropriate. Okay, so you never want that to be, anything to be called in question. Never be alone with the kids by yourself. You should be in open areas. If you're walking the halls, there really should be no time that you're alone with a child in the hallway. You're going to be more in the open areas of recess or the lunchroom or things like that, or a full class. So we just ask you to try to be cognizant of that while you're going through the day. Use the faculty restrooms. So there are restrooms that are designated for adults and for the parents that are not, the kids know that those are not the restrooms they're supposed to be using. So there are designated restrooms. I've got a map that I'll be showing you in a couple slides that exactly where those are located. But it's important that you're not using the children's, like there's a couple that are off the gym and things like that, is to not use those restrooms, but use the adult only restrooms. And again, I'll locate that on a map for you. Be a role model and set a good example. So what I would stress to you as being a watchdog, you have to be kind of, sometimes you might not necessarily be aware, but it's very important that you understand that there's a lot of eyes on you. So your visible language that you're giving off, that you're communicating, that's being picked up by a lot of kids. So, folding of arms, the thing, not being approachable, they see that. Okay, so just be aware of how you're setting that communication up visually, and then also, try to say the right things, and it's pretty common sense, but the attitude goes a long way. So, one of the things that when you're in the school environment is be respectful of the teachers. There is time, especially recess and in PE. Those are the opportunities to cut loose, mess with the kids, joke around, high fives, all that kind of stuff. Outside of that setting, especially specials, so music and art, or in the classroom or anywhere else in the school, we have to kind of try to set a certain standard there, and a certain amount of respect that we have in the school. So it might be tempting to give the kids a high five while you're walking down the hallway. Those kids are being told they're supposed to line up, be quiet, single file line, that type of thing. So just be aware of that as well. So there's a time and place for everything. Have a blast at in PE and recess, and try to be more respectful in other times of the day. No cell phones. So we're not a cell phone police. But if you're needing, for whatever reason, you have a business call or something you need to, address someone in a business setting, then there's two places you can go. You either go outside, or there is a PTA room. Again, I'll have a map for you in a couple slides that gives you the opportunity to go ahead and use your cell phone. Just do it outside of the view of the children, and obviously you don't want to be doing this in the middle of the school with the kids around and things like that. Again, if you can unplug, try to be involved with the kids as much as you can. So again, this is kind of with the role model type of thing, but respect is a big deal, especially with the specials curriculum. So there's there's times that particular, when we say specials, what we're talking about is music and art, and it's important to understand that when you go in those settings, those instructors or teachers have to have kind of a set of guidelines that they go by to be able to corral that many kids at the same time and trying to either do some type of art or trying to build some kind of music thing. So what I would say for music, be involved. To a certain extent. So what I would say is being you can be involved in sing and dance, not just stand up against a wall and you cross your arms and things like that, but try to be engaged. One of the issues that we have seen is that sometimes the dads will get down on the floor and have kids come sit on their lap and that kind of thing. That's a definite no-no. We can't really even if it's your own kid, that's not something that's really allowed. But so music, what we say is be involved in that as much as possible. For art, it's best like the first 10, 15 minutes to kind of just be a fly on the wall to a certain extent. The instructors there or teachers have to get through the instruction of getting the kids going on that particular type of art, and then participate. Don't try to be as less disruptive as possible in those environments. Again, that's not the time to be doing the high fives or distracting the teachers whatsoever. So that's basically what we're talking about on the with the specials curriculum is just try to be respectful there. Obviously, we have to say it, unfortunately, but no profanity, alcohol, or drugs. So, it's kind of funny. I've heard a couple stories of some games out in recess getting a little heated, and there might be some words that are being said or whatever. Just, again, be cognizant of what you're saying and remember the setting of the school. And try to be as respectful as possible. And unfortunately, we have to say it, but no alcohol or drugs at the school. Amanda Klein. It's basically the watchdog. She's our contact at Schaefer. She's at the front desk. She's one of the ladies and part of the staff that work up at the front desk. She is a watchdog's best friend. She understands the program. She knows exactly what you guys need, that type of thing. What'll happen is when you go in for your watchdog day, you're checking in at 7:30 in the morning. So you'll check in with Amanda. She'll give you a clipboard with a schedule. So we'll talk about the schedule in a little bit. She'll take your picture with your children, and then she's there for any questions. So when you get there, there's typically 2 or 3 watchdogs. It's a little hectic in the morning because we have car rider line too. Just know, be ready to go. Check in. You'll get raptored in and all that kind of stuff. You'll basically be given a schedule to use, and she'll take your picture with your child, and again, she can answer any questions that you might have about the program. Again, throughout the day too, that you can definitely ask her questions. So let's talk about some of the details. We have a uniform T-shirt. That is not the more kind of dry fit polo. It is a cotton T-shirt. Again, it looks a little cartoonish. The logo was on the first part of this training. I understand that people like to wear their khakis and a polo. It does look nicer, but from the school's perspective, and from what we know about especially the younger kids, is they see that as being a friendly, non-threatening way of identifying watchdogs. So it's easily identifiable. If a teacher's looking down the hallway, they know for sure you're a watchdog. The kids know it as well. So again, if you're a watchdog, you're going, you definitely need a T-shirt. What I would also say about that is, for whatever reason, the shipping gets pretty expensive the longer you wait to buy the shirt. So make sure that when you sign up for your watchdog day, you've got plenty of time. Give yourself a couple of weeks. to get that T-shirt because it does take quite a while, and if you have to rush it, you might end up spending quite a bit of money trying to get the shipping here in time. So you'll be given an orientation and a campus map when you do the check-in with Amanda. She'll be providing that. So just be aware that you'll have a review to do when you get there if you're not familiar with the campus, but you'll have that, and she'll give you kind of an orientation when you show up. She'll also give you a daily agenda or kind of a time schedule for you to use as well. So you'll have to go ahead and review that. We are changing things up this year, and I'll talk about that in a little bit later, but it is important to understand where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be somewhere, and again, try to be respectful of the schedule as much as possible. There is a work belt at lunch. When you work the lunchroom, is straws. A lot of the requests from the kids is they don't have a spoon for their applesauce or things like that. So there's a work belt, excuse me, at the lunch table. It's kind of the entrance where they go in and get their lunch. There's a setup there that the work belt is sitting there if you want to use it. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. You can just grab a group of spoons or something like that, or napkins to hand out to the kids. You also get and be issued 10 great student stickers. These are watchdog stickers. The kids know all about them. So they'll be hounding you, especially at lunch. They'll be giving you the big toothy grin, expecting to get a sticker. So just be aware of that. And try to you're going to want to kind of ration your stickers as you go, because you'll have them all gone in 30 seconds if you start giving them out right away. So new this year, we've got a kind of show you a daily schedule, but we're changing things up a little bit. Some of the feedback we got from the teachers and even some of the dads is, in general, what we want to do is have a more consistent involvement with the dads inside the classrooms. So what we're looking to do is make sure that dads are in the classroom when they're supposed to be. So what we've had in the past is dads have been just showing up into the classroom whenever they kind of wanted during the day. They might have missed the time that they were supposed to be with their kids' class. So what we're doing is changing that up. So for kindergarten through third, what we're looking at doing this year is you will go with your student after you do the announcements with your child in the morning. You're going to go straight with them to your child's classroom for 30 minutes. So imagine that the first 10 minutes of that is kind of you're introducing yourself to the class. Kind of in a father comes to class, type of thing, and you can talk about your work, your hobbies, whatever you want to talk about. Just kind of introduce yourself to the class. At that point, what we want you to do is kind of sit back and let the teacher kind of lead you on the involvement you have the rest of the 30 minutes. So most likely they're going to try to start some kind of curriculum. Again, let the teacher do their teaching. Be more of a kind of a fly on the wall, observe. You can be involved, but just try not to be a distraction to the teacher or to the children. So definitely no high fives in the classrooms, and try not to distract the lesson that's going on as much as you can. For fourth grade, what we're going to do is it's a little bit different. The fourth grade level, they go to specials right after announcements. So what we're asking fourth grade do is go to the announcements with your children. If you have one that's in fourth grade, you'll also go to specials. We're also asking if you can spare 10, 15 minutes is to help out in the library a little bit. Again, as I talked about those specials, is the first 10, 15 minutes of those classes, it's really the teacher trying to get across and the instructions for that day on what they're actually doing. So it would be kind of beneficial if, and not only for the teachers of the specials, but also in the library, is if we can help out there, 10, 15 minutes, not an hour or anything like that. Help, shelf some books for a while. wait about 15 minutes and then go to the specials. Just know where your kid's going, if they're going to art or music, and which teacher they're going to. And then immediately after specials, the fourth grade go to their actual class. So that's when you can attend the actual classroom with your child and do the 30 minutes there as well. So that's just for fourth grade though. Fifth grade's a little bit different as well. There's not in the morning. It's not a consistent time. So what we're doing is trying to be consistent in the afternoon. So you're going to basically go to lunch, the same lunch period as your child, and then the class immediately following lunch, which it should be about 2:35, or excuse me, it should be about 2:05 is when you will be in the classroom, and try to be there just about 30 minutes. So again, the same thing there. First 5-10 minutes, introduce yourself, type of thing, and then kind of sit back and let the teacher lead you on the rest of that time. So as I said, this is a map. If you're not familiar with the campus, I've highlighted in blue, and I'll zoom in here some of the areas. So two most important things, if you're not familiar with the school, are again the adult bathrooms. So you want to make sure that you're using one of the adult bathrooms and not the children bathrooms. And then also, I talked about before, if you're needing a break or if you need to make a business call, again, you want to do those type of things outside the view of the children. There is a PTA room that can be used and utilized that is fairly quiet during the day. So if you go to that room it's right off the front of the school. You can kind of go in there, take a little break. What I suggest is not hang in there too long. Make your phone call, take a 10-15 minute break. But the school needs you. Believe it or not, a lot of the stuff that's going on, they get a lot of deliveries. There's a lot of kind of stuff, patrolling, going and checking out the portable classrooms that are outside. And kind of making sure doors are locked, those type of things. There's a lot of stuff to help out with. I understand it is tiring. if you're not used to walking a lot, make sure you get tennis shoes on. You're definitely going to be walking a lot that day. But again, try to stay in certain designated areas. And then try to avoid just hiding out. And if you think there's not much to do, just ask Amanda or somebody else at the front desk, and I will guarantee you they've got something for you to help out with. So if you can, please help in that regard. So we have a couple, when you sign up for the Watchdogs program, you're basically picking a day that you're going to come help. We have special science days. It's basically what's called the STEAM program. That each grade level has 2 science days per year, and what they've asked the school has asked for us to do is kind of help out in those regards. So on those particular days, we need extra watchdogs. Most of them are 3 extra dogs a day. But the kindergarten, obviously, with the kindergartners, it's a little bit more unruly, so they asked for 5 watchdogs on those days. Notice that the 5th and 4th grade, there was actually some events that were planned during Hurricane Harvey, so they have not officially rescheduled those yet, but I think in the near future they're going to have dates for that, and then you've got the other respective dates. So these go fast as well, so if you're interested in it, when you go to the calendar, you might want to try to check one out if you're interested in that program. And another part that's fairly important with this is that we have gotten some feedback that if you have multiple children, you should only be going to lunch and recess with your STEAM grade students. So meaning that the child that's in that science lab those days, you can follow them to lunch and recess for those students. But if you have multiple children that are in different grade levels, obviously we're really needing your help in the STEAM or in the LGI, which is the lab room where the labs are happening. We really need you in there. So if you could be respectful on that too, is that feel free, go to lunch and recess with your child that's in science, but sign up for a different day to actually go to your other children's classrooms. And again, we're the expectation is that the dads are staying in the LGI room. Again, if you guys leave, they don't have any help if you're out doing other things. So we have normal watchdogs that are at the school, so they're doing the normal watchdog activities at the same time. So you guys really are allocated to help out in the science room. So miscellaneous signups and closure dates. So there are things: field day, celebration of learning, winter class party, spring party. I don't have a date for the spring party yet, but we're looking at for extra watchdogs on these dates. So obviously a big one, field day. If you haven't been to field day before, it's a pretty big event. And obviously, the more help we can get, the better. So we're looking for 10 watchdogs in the morning, 10 in the afternoon. And then we've got 4 for the other events, basically 4 extra watchdogs per day on those. Just so you're aware, a lot of people will send me emails and thinking maybe the calendar is wrong. There are times in the school year that the campus is closed. Most likely, it's usually during testing periods that are going on. So like the STAR testing, that's the state testing. Those require that the campus be closed completely to anybody else, that any visitors whatsoever, including us. So just know that, and please be aware that if there are dates on there that are not on the calendar, that's most likely the reason is there's something going there. The ones we know about right now are obviously listed there: March 1st, April 2nd through the 6th, and then May 14th through the 17th. So what do you do now? We're basically looking, the way we have the calendar set up is we're looking for 2 dads per day on Monday through Thursday, and then we allow three on Fridays. You know, what I'd ask is that you please be courteous about the days and how many you're choosing and how many you're signing up for. We do have a system limitation of 4 enrollments per year. What we kind of have seen is, unfortunately, we have people abusing the system and signing up for 10 different events and then canceling at the last minute on a lot of this. So it's really not fair to the rest of the dads, with people that are kind of hogging up spots when they really have no intention of showing up those dates. So again, that's kind of the guidelines. We do two watchdogs a day, and then 3 on Fridays, and we try to adhere to that as much as possible. You get too many watchdogs up there, it gets a little hairy with. They're especially on the Fridays. If you got more than 3, there's not that much to do, and then you have a lot of dads just kind of standing around, things like that. So we try to be respectful in that regard. Again, limit to 4 signups per year. So you've heard the spiel. I've given you the spiel in this training. Now it's basically sign up and show up. So I have a couple forms for you guys to fill out. One is really just getting your information, and I kind of like to have that in a separate database. A lot of times there'll be kind of either miscommunication or missing information that if I have the data in 2 different sources, it helps me kind of line things up. Especially if someone didn't put the teacher's name or information like that, I've got it in 2 different places, and it helps me cross reference. So that information is, you'll see here on this next slide. I'm looking for 2 different things. So the first one, send me your info, and this is for new and returning watchdogs. And the reason for the returning is I need your teacher names for your children. And what I'd also say is on that is when we're actually doing the sign up, if you know you're going to one particular child's classroom, please specify just that child, so that we're not notifying all the teachers, when you don't really plan on actually being in those classrooms. So I would ask you to, when you're sending the info on the first link there, that's basically a spreadsheet form that you'll fill out, and it's giving me basically your information there. your child's name, your email, basically your contact information, your teacher, and the grade level of your children. And then the actual sign up is the last link there. And that's basically linking you to a sign up genius. Pretty self-explanatory, intuitive. You basically go through the calendar, pick your dates. You'll see if there's slots available. Again, they do kind of fill up pretty quickly, so make sure you go in there fairly early to if you have specific dates, especially birthdays. A lot of people, it's important that, that for dads that they want to be there at the children's birthdays. We only have a certain amount of slots. So what I would highly suggest is go get on the form early. You know your kid's birthday. I've got the whole year out there. Go reserve that spot now. And don't be asking in March, because you forgot to sign up. So again, not trying to be, browbeat anybody on it, but it is important that we don't have too many watchdogs on the same day. And birthdays is kind of a culprit of that. It kind of catches up to people. So, two things we need you to do is again the first form, fill that out. So it's a easy. It takes you probably 30 seconds to fill out. It's basically a spreadsheet that's online, a form that'll give me your information, and then also the Sign Up Genius sign up for your days, and you'll basically get reminders from the Sign Up Genius site a couple days beforehand. You can always go in there, log in, and see where you've been assigned. You'll get emails notifying you after you register. What days, so you kind of have a reminder, put it in your calendar, that type of thing. So, again, pretty self-explanatory, but we do need those pieces of information. So, thank you very much. I know this has been about a 30-minute presentation. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things we do need to talk about on there before we get started. But again, thank you for being a watchdog. The program at Schaefer is amazing, and I think if you've not been involved before, I think you can really appreciate when you do get involved. It's a great program. So again, thanks for being a great dad, and thanks for participating at Schaefer Elementary.